Hey, everybody. That was a weird opening, I'm sure, for everybody, especially for me. Make some noise, which is like thumbs up or something if you can hear me, because I have no sound check today. Shang, first of all, Savage AF is the show. I'm Black Pedro, as you can see it right here, woo, in the corner. Shang, my everyday host, co-host, Savage AF, Monday through Friday, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn Live. He's traveling. Tampa, Florida. If you're listening right now, just know that SHANGRY, Shang himself, is in your town at the Tampa Improv. So right now he's fighting off COVID and crackers just to bring comedy to you guys. So we appreciate y'all out there for gathering up. I see everybody in the building. Nicole H, Stacy P, Breezy JJ's, always. Znat, love you. Pamela Knox, I see you. Good humor. We see you. That's what it is, y'all. So we're here Monday through Friday. I'm gonna hold it down today. It's a drill solo. I'm Black Pedro. You know what it is. Mondays and Fridays. Mondays and Fridays. We are typically on at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Tuesday through Thursday. Typically we're on at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's why you always need to be locked in to the YouTube page. It's scrolling at the bottom right there. YouTube.com/c/Savage AF World for those who are listening. And if you're listening, I'll get to you now or in a minute. Sorry. But make sure when you go to the YouTube page, this is very, very important. Make sure you're doing this, okay? Just. I love it. So that's what it is, man. Make sure you're subscribing and getting your notifications on by ringing the bell. You're 2 clicks away from being so perfect right now. Garlene Kane, I see you. Twana, I see you. All right, man. Thank y'all for joining in, Lady Hazel. I see you. Thank y'all for joining in, man. We appreciate y'all. If you don't get to watch us live on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Monday through Friday, you might be listening to us on like wherever you get your podcast from, iTunes, Google Play, Slacker, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and SoundCloud. Yeah. Doing a little extra. I had a little something left over in the tank. Gave it to y'all. You're welcome. Going into the weekend. It's a Friday, the 13th. Oh, okay. Jason Voorhees. Oh, hey man, them movies was scary as fuck back in the day. I ain't gonna lie. I was into that shit. I don't get into it. Sorry. That's fuck. I live by a hospital, busy intersection in LA. If you hear the sirens in the back, they're not looking for me. Shook that case. But I was into those movies back in the day. Your Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th. After a while, I got older. Once they got into the 8th, 9th, 13th installment, I'm like, I'm good. And then once it got into like the Hostel and the fucking was it Saw, yeah, I just gore for no reason. Yeah, I was like, you know what, I'm good. Like I can't do it, man. You guys have your shit. Candyman is coming out. That's our little black what do you call him? Villain. Just a horror character. So yeah, that's coming back out, They ain't got nothing better to do. We had all the best shit when we was growing up, so they just brought that right on back. That's what it is, man. Savage AF. we're going to be here. I'm going to do a shorter show today because it's just me. But I do appreciate y'all participation. Pamela Knox is on her way to a camping trip. You be careful out there in them woods, okay, girl? I hope you like. Are you leaving GPS pins for anybody that actually cares about you? That's because you got on in them woods and they just I don't know what happened to her. Yeah. Okay. Oh, so yeah, you don't even. I'm pretty sure you don't want to have the horror movie, especially you're gonna go to the woods on Friday the 13th on a camping trip. If it's called Crystal Lake, I'm just gonna say turn the fucking car around. That's what if it's got a death curse. Yeah, I don't know if you tuned into that first one. Spoiler alert: Jason wasn't actually the killer in the first one, but I'm talking about it. Yeah, but Pamela Knox, make sure you leave some, just a few pins on the way. Let people know where you are. Okay, this 2021 shit ain't getting no better. She said she got her "Don't fuck with me" face on. Okay, and sometimes that can work. Even mosquitoes sometimes will be like, you know what? Let's bite over here because she ain't playing. She looks like a swatter. So yeah, man, but be careful in all areas of America. We're gonna get into it today. It is Savage AF. It's Friday the 13th, August. It is 2021. We're not gonna end with the SHANGRY today, but we will. Actually, we're not even gonna end with the Black Pedro pop in today, okay? Because it's just me. So I've already popped in. It's called being lazy, guys. But we will end with our most favorite segment. Motherfuckers Say What? Where we find out that 8 out of 50 American states are responsible for half of the United States new COVID hospitalizations. Let's talk about it. But before we get into that, we want you to watch your moves. And I wrote it like this because it's technically the second story, but this is one of two stories regarding the U.S. Census. But the census also shows Americans are moving to the wrong places, right? So let's talk about where we're migrating to within our own country and how we're doing that, and what that means environmentally and for you personally. But before we get into that, the first census story we're going to talk about, this is also, is A Tale of Two Muricas. But a dang dong that in the lane dang dang. And one thing the census does show, and we were talking about yesterday, is the decline in the percentage of Americans in America. I think it went from 63% to 57 or something like that. Or I might have got the last two digits wrong, but yeah, I don't think it went from 67% to 53, but whatever. Anyways, somewhere in that range, just a little variation in the number. A lot of it, has to do with maybe higher birth rates in minority populations, death of older white people, people identifying differently, people identifying differently as multiracial as opposed to, just white, maybe as they would have a decade or two ago. So not necessarily, this huge, takeover of whiteness in America, but what the census is showing is a pattern that's leading towards a more long-term political turmoil and sort of, dichotomy in America where people are just on either or sides of it. And that's why I say Tale of Two Muricas, because I'll admit I'm stubborn and, bullheaded in the way I think about, a lot of social political things. Like I lean to the left hard, and, I think a lot of things need to change. And, I'm not ready to listen to anymore, anything from the far right, means nothing to me. And I understand that goes vice versa. And that's part of the problem. But the main part of the problem is that the right, Queen Bee, I see you. All right. I see y'all in here. Don't be yelling at me, all caps at me. Okay. Just one man. No, I'm lame. But one of the major problems, obviously, is the GOP and their insistence on. And by the way, cheers, because it is Friday, so let's get through this shit. Bam. They're using this data from the census to push the narrative of whiteness is being reduced and what is it? Fucker Carlson is calling it like reduction theory or some shit. But it's that idea. White people are terrified that their numbers are being reduced, and that America is going to become this extremely brown country. So within that camp, and as painful as it is to say, Fucker Carlson is the most popular cable news personality on the most watched quote unquote news. We'll call it faux news or Fox Noise network in America. So they they have a lock on a lot of ears and eyes in this country, and these people tune in to hear that and make themselves feel good about themselves and all the things their ancestors have done. It's called replacement theory. I'm looking at the Washington Post here, but replacement theory is what these right-winged Fucker Carlsons are spewing out of their ass mouths. It's like you can't tell which end they're talking out of at some point. But replacement theory, that's what this is all getting flipped to. So while America is becoming more diverse, and it's not at this, for all you white people out there, it's not at this some scary takeover rate, But yeah, there is a mixing of people that's going on. Don't allow yourselves to be manipulated by this idea that it's some takeover or replacement type theory. It's just like, no, America was meant to be a melting pot of, bring me your sick and rich and poor and whatever, you're wounded and tired and, everybody come on in, man. We're going to check your background a little bit, make sure you're not a murderer. But yeah, we should do that. But, this is obviously going to just lead to more division the way we are right now, the way things are set up right now. If most Americans are getting their news from Fox News or whatever, we're in deep shit, because they're spewing deep shit, like, and I don't mean deep shit like poetry. I just mean like a lot of shit that if you stood in it, you'd be like at least like bottom lip. Hey. Just trying to keep that out of the shit. Shawnee, I see you, girl, all the way from Bermuda. That's a long way to tune in from, baby. I appreciate that. White supremacists feel threatened. Laura Ingram said the Democrats are changing. Oh, the demographics are changing. Sorry. One of the main things you don't want to do in your life is listen to a Laura Ingram, right? This is like if they just made and marketed a racist Barbie, a racist xenophobic Barbie, like if it was just called Karen Barbie, she is the Karen of news, Laura Ingram. So. But white supremacists feel threatened. Absolutely. That's part of their false supremacy, is knowing that it's false. So you always have to constantly be or feel threatened, because you're not standing on any sort of solid ground, right? Of course, your white supremacy is flimsy. So you got to pass these laws and make sure nobody votes, and then draw a line here and make sure that this neighborhood doesn't have anybody representing them. Blah, blah, blah. It's like that's why they always are constantly acting desperate and, trying to, subvert laws to, to kill the Constitution and just keep it a white guy thing. But unfortunately, in America, this is not going to be a white guy thing forever. And you still got it right now. So, I mean, don't trip. Don't nobody freak out. Jerry Maguire, they're like, hey, don't freak out. But soon it'll be over. And just whatever. Get with a Puerto Rican chick or a fucking Asian chick and mix it up, bro. Like, mix it up. Let's go, y'all. Oh, butt naked parties is basically what I was just trying to endorse there with that whole story, guys. If we just keep mixing it up, white, black, it won't matter. Okay, we'll all just owe taxes to Jeff Bezos for his space dick. All right, man. Savage AF. That's what it is. I'm Black Pedro. Comedian Shang is live in Tampa, Florida at the Tampa Improv right now this weekend, man. So make sure you get on out there. I know I got a buddy down there who's going. It's gonna be a good old time, man. Let's go if you're in the Florida area, make sure you go. Make sure you go. Okay, just go, even if it's only for one show. Speaking of going places, man, another thing that the census is also showing, I should say, is that Americans, as we move about, people looking for new opportunities and better lives, retirement. My mama didn't want to shovel snow no more. And, she was in Detroit by herself. My sister was in Vegas. I was in LA. We steered her towards Vegas because it was just, better bang for her butt in terms of home ownership, yada, 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 right? Turns out we steered my mother towards one of the most dangerous places to live. I lived here. I moved out to LA 22 years ago. But essentially, Americans right now are migrating to all of the wrong places. Essentially, Americans are moving to the coasts, you know what I mean? Along the shorelines where the rising sea levels and whatnot are a problem, and out west, where obviously insane heat right now is just, my mama can't grow a tomato. In Las Vegas, man, them leaves, I saw one catch fire at night. Sun wasn't even out. So, in these places that are critically or will be critically affected by climate change, I should say, as opposed to the place where my mother left, which is like the Great Lakes region or the inner East Coast, right? Which are places that are less likely to be impacted by global warming. There's still a lot of green vegetation there, a lot of fresh water. Just in the long term, given our current climate, they are better places to live. Now, the environmental hazards that the article did not mention were, like the motherfuckers in Detroit that was, robbing shit and stealing catalytic converters. And, it's still a dangerous city. So it's a tough Great Lakes region. A lot of jobs are pulled out of there. A lot of American industry is out of there now. So there isn't as much work opportunity. If we're moving towards a Silicon Valley based society, where we're going to work together with robots to make the world a better place. Well, a lot of that is happening on the fucking West Coast, man. So people involved in that or doing that probably going to, migrate there. Nobody wants to shovel snow, right? You also don't want to shovel volcanic ash or earthquake rubble or, tsunami leftovers. I don't know what you would call those. But right now, America is moving in the wrong direction in all the ways, and not just culturally, but physically. We are, I can see it out here in Los Angeles, both in overcrowding and underhousing, where, There's a lot of new construction and vacancies and a shit ton of homeless people. But this has always been a destination town that people have, transient population, people move in and out a lot. But for the most part, people are trying to move here to stay. And in the meantime, soaking up a lot of fucking resources in a place that truly doesn't have them. This is a desert. Vegas is a desert. Most of California is a fucking desert, man. Yeah, it touches the ocean, but you can't drink that shit. Plus, they spilled like tons of ass juice. We talked about it weeks ago. In up and down the California coast, out of the LA sewage. Yeah, so you don't want to fuck with. You can't fuck with that water. So this is not a great place to live, given the amount of heat that goes down here, and the lack of natural resource in terms of the gift of life, water. Aqua vitae. That's so. If you are thinking about migrating, you might want to not just take into account, oh, where's fun, or am I going to have a cool life here, or I just want to live here just because I've always wanted to. Just understand that you might be moving to a Miss Adverb. I see you, girl. Okay, what you said? Okay, let me see her. I just want to welcome you to the show. She said you can't drink ocean water to start with. Yeah, that's what I was saying. But even to dip your toe in, or just wade in the water, you don't want to do it here either. You get gangrene just from touching the shit. So dookie foot. But if you're thinking about moving, you might want to consider environmentally. Maybe upstate New York might be a better place rather than down on the coast. Or Philadelphia is a place they mentioned that seems to be in a position that's sort of impact proof for the overall global warming phenomenon. But they only had like a 5% population growth versus an 11%, I believe, growth in Phoenix, which is the devil's tank. Like if a devil stuck a firecracker up his ass, took a match, lit that, let it, and then pew, 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 like the heat from all of that while still in hell, that's Phoenix. Christmas Day. Right? That's how hot Phoenix is. So, but everybody wants to move there because it's a cheaper lifestyle, especially if you're from the East Coast or North or whatever. You're just thinking, I don't have to shovel snow anymore. And I just want to tell you that's been my main motivation to not move back. But I might have to acquire some land back home in Detroit again, just because I've always understood it to be this area of fresh and natural resources. Some of the water might be dirty, but you boil that, you know what I'm saying? Scoop the little foam off top. And we gone. But watch where you move, okay, guys? Don't just move to some place because it's popular. LA looks great on TV. It's a shitty life out here. It's hard. It's expensive, and it's too hot sometimes and too cold other times, and it's expensive. This is the main reason you shouldn't ever move here. That being said, Savage AF, man, we're not that expensive. It won't cost you much, guys, to just make sure you tell a friend about the show. Monday through Friday, we're live, Facebook and YouTube, but especially on YouTube. You see it scrolling at the bottom. I'm just going to leave it on all show. YouTube.com/c/Savage AF. Wild. All right, man, we're going to end today's show. Got a little time left, but this last segment, it's just one of my favorite things to do on the show, man, is when I get an opportunity to hit this button so that we collectively as a community here on Savage AF can ask the most important question that anyone could ask, which is,
motherfucker say what? Yeah. Motherfucker say what? Say yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, god damn, man, it gets me going. All right, man. So speaking of getting going, and we talked about how divided America is going to be based on the census and, just this replacement theory narrative that white people are being erased from America. It's going to keep us politically divided for a while. We're also just moving about this country physically in the wrong ways to areas that don't need more people to use more resources that aren't there. But let's talk about probably the 8 places that you absolutely do not want to live right now. Today's motherfucker say what just examines the reality that 8 United States in the United of America-ness. How do you say that? 8 of the United American States. 8. Okay, I'll just read the fucking states off that, fuck all y'all, man, because you want to make it hard. And I see what you're doing. So in alphabetical order, these states are responsible for half of the United States total COVID hospitalizations right now. Okay, 8 states. Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, okay, Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi, Nevada, and Texas. Yeah. I really don't know if you guys noticed the pattern right there. Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi, Nevada, and Texas. There just seems to be a pattern there of the sort of geographic locations of these states. But these 8 states are responsible for half of the United States total COVID hospitalizations right now. Motherfuckers say what? Okay, so let's just break it down. Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi. That's all. That's just probably just uneducated, misguided, misinformation. Just land out there. And then I think Texas just always wanted to be its own state, anyways, or its own country, really. So always fuck everything. Texas is always like fuck everything that the government says. On a federal level, fuck them. Fuck all of that shit. And Nevada is, I think, more a product of Vegas and specifically the Strip, probably, where as soon as that reopened, everybody and they fucking mama from everywhere in their fucking mama's place came to fucking Vegas. Because for the most part, I think Nevada, at least state-wise in terms of mandates and things like that, has tried to do the right thing. And, when they shut down the Vegas Strip for as long as they did, that's a true gesture, a true move in the right direction to, keep the world, because as nothing as Nevada can be outside of that, like that Vegas Strip brings in the entire world, and no knock on Vegas, man. I mean, or Nevada, my family is settled there, but in between, Vegas and Pahrump, or Prim and Vegas and Reno, and what was it, Winnemucca? I've been up there. Oh man, that's Lord, you are out there when you're doing it. But so the rest of this, I think, is just, outside of Texas just being a lone star, it's like I don't give a fuck. Yeah, I don't give a fuck, buddy. We're doing this, okay? Barbecue on Saturday. See you then. Nevada, everybody went there. Everybody's still going there to the Strip. It's just it's a super spreader, the Strip. But Mississippi, Louisiana, Georgia, Florida, Arkansas, that's just banjo minded, cracker monkey, ideology. That's just people being indignant. You know what I'm saying? Florida, I mean, we obviously know. Motherfuckers led by the Trump Jr., the biggest cracker monkey of all, man. Like Ron Census is on a mission to be the worst motherfucker ever. He's like, I'll see you're Donald Trump. And he's like, if you think that's a small dick, watch this. Like, I mean, it's just amazing to watch these states fail when, typically they were led by Republicans who weren't so gung-ho about locking down, following science, masking up, spreading the proper information. And now they're at the center of, and this is my theory minus Nevada, they're at the center of this new outbreak as a result of stupidity. Nevada, I just think is maybe you called it stupid for them to open up the Strip, but at the time it seemed like a good idea. But it invited everybody from everywhere, and there was never any way to really tell if people were feeling good or not, or obviously weren't being tested on their way in, or to see if they had been tested. So it was just the Strip itself in Vegas. It was the super spreader just waiting to happen, no matter what point you opened it during a pandemic, unless it's been fully stamped out. So. Good Humor Wasted says she's in Alabama. She can give us all the details. I think we see the details. They down there, bo dang, don't dang, don't dang there. You know what I mean? Just every time the signs come on, they like lang dang lang dang dang dang. And nobody wants to listen to that shit. So it's a rough place to be in. But if you're any one of those 8 states, get the fuck out. Yeah. Move to the Great Lakes or upstate New York or Philadelphia. Born and raised. On the playground is where I spent most of my, like you'll get in a fight with a thug. You'll get to move to Beverly Hills. It'll be, Bel Air, I'm sorry. Beverly Hills. That shithole. When you live in Bel Air is one of the places where you're like, I wouldn't be caught dead in Beverly Hills. It's like that, y'all. Like that, y'all. But you know what it is, man. So that's all it is. There are these 8 states, and I think when we look at it, if you look on the map and you talk about the ones I just talked about, let me read it off one more again for y'all, just so you know. Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi, Nevada, Texas. It's literally just the bottom of America's belly. I don't know, man, how many rolls you got, America, but when you lift up some of them rolls and you find you haven't washed in a while, yeah, it's probably some funk up under there, huh? Mm-hmm. That's what this COVID is right now. 8 states, half the cases. That's what it is. It's just America's funk roll down at the bottom. Excuse me on that. Low cough. I'm gonna get out of here before I die. Understand if you're in Florida, Tampa, before you escape, go see Shang at the Tampa Improv. Gonna be a good old time. We're gonna get out of here, y'all. We'll be back Monday, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. See you then.